So here's what I have come up with so far. So I mentioned that I wanted to do something like snake or like mongoose related with the gladiolus flowers, but since the dimensions of the blocks that I'm using are quite small and they're more squarish, I don't think they would lend themselves too great with the gladiolus flowers since they're so long, and they're called sword lilies, so they're just like very vertical and very long. And I felt like the snake and the mongoose, I didn't know how to connect that to my other pieces I've done in the past. So as I was looking back at my old lino-cut prints, I really remembered like the vulnerability and intimacy I was trying to achieve with them and really trying to get more like this cozy vibe. And I've been feeling that cozy vibe like for the last couple of weeks with like the holidays coming around and things getting a little bit colder here in Florida. But I just kind of wanted to touch back on the symbols that I used in those older prints, and those prints were kind of like the origins of my characters Strawberry Sol and Blueberry Bill. And so once again going back to strawberry and blueberry motifs, and also thinking about adding in the addition of some animals that personally mean a lot to me and would work well with these more soft domestic ideas that I've been thinking about for these prints. So these are just some like pen sketches and doodles, and I started to actually thumbnail some things out. This is without animals and I still really like them. I think they could work really well. They would work well. But I just really want to include an animal. Like, I feel like this could make such a good small lino-cut print. I may end up doing this one for like a later print. I feel like that one could be really fun just because I want to see it as a print myself. So yeah, so just some thumbnailing. I was researching about strawberry and blueberry plants and trying to like find a word that kind of resonates with those plants and like the symbols that those plants hold. And strawberries, from my past research, always like when they're used in paintings or in literature, they kind of have like a sensuality to them and like a fleshiness to it, and a lot of the words that I saw were like tender, so I wanted to include that word. And then blueberries, berries are sweet, and I couldn't find much about blueberries, but more just the whole idea of berries in general being like sweet and inoffensive. And I like came up with these thumbnails, and I like just the plants, but then also once again with the animals, kind of experimenting with that and pairing them together. And I really like how they turned out. They're really cute, and I think it could be a cool direction to go into. I really don't know if I want to do it with the animals or without. I think the animals give it so much more life and so much more character. And I've just really been wanting to draw animals lately, and they're just small blocks, so it's not like I'm dedicating myself to like a whole series of work. But I definitely wanted to tie back to the older prints that I did, so the strawberries and blueberries, tie back to that, and the sentiments of like a tender, sweet, kind of cozy feeling. And I feel like these animals could be a cool addition to that. So I'm going to scan these into my computer and then transfer that to my iPad, and we're just gonna finalize these, sketch them out, add a little bit more details, and really plan out where I want like the lights and the darks to be. And then I think I'm just gonna like print out that design on a smaller scale and then use some transfer paper I have to transfer onto the block, and then finally start to cut it. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. Yeah, so I'm just gonna finish this guy up. I don't think I'll be doing both of these in one video. I may save this for another print with me video, but I'm gonna focus on this Shiba strawberry piece. And yeah, I'm excited to work on it. I haven't done printmaking in over a year, and I'm really itching to get started. I also have this sketch of one of my OCs that I feel like could be a really cool like larger print, kind of like a portrait of her, and just messing around with those like really pointy edges. I don't know, I think that could be really fun as well. Now my brain is just like in a printmaking mode. Like it's just like, oh, I can make a print of that, just go crazy. But yeah, I'm excited. This was the old sketch I was talking about. It's like this mixture of blueberries and strawberries. It could still be like a fun print to do, maybe on a larger scale since there's so many details. But yeah, I remember having this idea, so hearkening back to that with the same sentiment and the same pairing of these strawberries and blueberries, and just really having fun with that and returning to these old ideas is something I really want to do. So yeah, this is the old sketch that I had, but now I will be working on a new one. Okay, so here's the finished like drawing the finished plan for this. I didn't end up recording a lot of it just because I was having like a weird art day and it was getting really hard to focus, and I felt like the camera was kind of getting in the way of it because I have my camera above what I'm working on and it's like right at my eye level, so it was getting a little annoying, but I managed to finish it on my own and I really like how it turned out. I really like how the text turned out. I was kind of debating on whether to soften it a bit because like the word tender in this image I feel like would need like something like a softer font, but I found that like kind of rounding the edges and kind of curling some of the letters made it really like fit together. And I really love how these flowers turned out and how it kind of just frames the dog, and it's really cute. It's really simple. I am a bit concerned with those little dots and those little details getting lost or not being able to achieve them at the size that I'm printing at, because this is the block that I'm printing at. So we're gonna see how that goes. I'm gonna print off a copy of this and then use some transfer paper to get it onto the block. Yeah, I feel like this idea formed a bit more as I was working on it, adding in this block of like black. It's like a bush kind of silhouetting the dog and the plants. It added a little bit more emphasis because I was really struggling on what to like. I wanted the print to have more of like an atmosphere, more things going on in it. I felt like if I had just had like the strawberries and the dogs, it would have been cute. Like it would have worked. Like it still would have worked compositionally, but I think adding in this kind of silhouette of like more foliage behind the dog kind of adds more depth and adds more atmosphere to the piece, which I really like. And I think it would hint back to more of the previous prints that I've done that has more of that atmosphere and depth, as well as connect back into my paintings and my colored work, because I was a little bit concerned that I'd be like straying too far away from like my painting style and like my regular like illustration style, but I feel like this still like is reminiscent of what I do and I really like that. So let's just get to printing this and putting it on the block. So I literally spent like half an hour trying to get the tracing paper to work on the block and it just wasn't transferring. I guess it's just the texture of the block because it's kind of rubbery. So, and you can even kind of see like a faded thing of it. So I'm just going to put it on my iPad and grid it out. I have it right here. Yeah. And just transfer the drawing onto the block just by hand through this gridding method. And I think I'm gonna use like a ballpoint pen probably, because I'm afraid that the graphite from my mechanical pencil is gonna be too harsh and it'll start actually puncturing the block, and that would show through in the final print. So, okay, I have this blue one. Let me see. It's fine. We'll just go with the blue one. Okay. So let's finally get the design onto the block. Testing. Okay, so Ritualis Press sent me their, I believe, A4 lino-cut printing press along with a Barren, which I've never used before, so that'd be cool. And I reached out to them like a couple weeks ago because I was just like, man, I really want to do some lino-cuts. That's a lino-cut. And by the way, I'm using this mic. I know it sounds not the best, but I really don't want to have to yell because my camera's far away. And yeah, so we're just gonna use what we have. Anyways, I did that lino-cut like almost a year ago now, just crazy. And it was like the first time I did lino-cut, and we had all the supplies we needed while I was still in school. I took a printing class and I had all the supplies, but now being out of school, I'm like, I don't have a printing press. So I was just like, hey, Ritualis, you want to send me a press? I'll share it on my channel. And they very generously gave me a press, which I'm very thankful for. Thank you, Ritualis. And yeah, they have I was looking on their website because I was looking for a printing press to try out, and their presses seem really high quality. There was really good reviews. So I can't wait to open this box and set it up and hopefully make some cool prints. I haven't done any sort of lino-cut work in over a year, so it'll be interesting, but I'm super excited and very happy. So yeah, thank you again, Ritualis, for sending me this press. I really appreciate it. And yeah, let's just jump into it. Let me actually attach the mic to my shirt. Okay, I need scissors. Very well packaged. How am I supposed to do this? There is the packing slip. Take that out because it has my address on it. Don't look. Also, I didn't check how my hair looked. I hope it looks fine. Whoa. I think this is the Barren, I believe. A Barren is like a glass kind of, I would say like a hand press, where I believe you just like put your print down and then you put a piece of paper on top and then you take the Barren and you kind of like rub on top of it. Yes, maybe. I don't know. We're gonna try it out. Holy cow. My boyfriend also, we're in that same class together, and he also does printmaking, and he also like makes his own paper. So this is going to him. The box it was heavy when I was moving it on to my desk, but I think what they said on their website, their presses are more like lightweight and easy to handle. So let's see. I'll move this out of the way now. Packaged very snugly in bubble wrap, so that's good to know. I'm always worried when things are like traveling basically across the globe that they're gonna end up broken or shipped in a precarious manner, but this seems to be wrapped very well, so you're definitely getting a protected press. Okay, I always forget to check my hair in the mirror before I start filming because I don't know what the heck is going on. And there she is. Wow, this is such a good size. I feel like this print may be a little bit bigger than this, but I feel like this is such a good size for what I want. I'm not looking to make like huge prints, and it's such a good like compact like desks like saving space size. So desk space saving size, and I feel like I could like just put this under my desk or away and easily store it. So yeah, this is even more of like a desk saver, and I think like the glass Barrens are like way less expensive. So if you don't have like a ton of space for like an actual like big press like this, these glass Barrens I think would be a great replacement for that. So yeah, here's the glass Barren. It's very pretty. It has like this blue and green like design on the inside. Really cool. I'm really excited to try this. I've used something similar to this before, but this is what I'm really excited about because I'm one of those people who like, if it's not easy to get out, then I never like bring out a certain supply. So I really like the convenience of this. So I'm gonna put it back in this, and the cute little box that it came in is so cute, so nice. And it's wood and it has like a metal hinge. So Ritualis Press is a company of two friends from Kolín, Czech Republic, I think that's how you say it, Kolín, who believe that printing is a ritual for many artists, thus the name Ritualis Press. Their goal is to create a compact and lightweight press suitable for home studios and kind of making it more accessible for anyone interested in relief styles of printmaking like lino-cuts, woodcuts, letterpress, textile printing, and even intaglio. As I've inspected the press a little bit further, I noticed that the press has laser burn centering lines on the actual press surface, which will definitely make printing a little easier. I may end up making some sort of register for a more exact lineup with some paper and gloss laminate, but it's really helpful to have those initial laser burn lines in there, and I think that's a really neat aspect of this specific press. The press also includes two levers to lean on with both hands to create more pressure, so even smaller people like me or like shorter people, or if you have some sort of accessibility issues, you can apply enough pressure more easily. I think I remember using a lever press in school and it didn't have the same double lever setup, and I had to press down basically with all my body weight, literally lifting myself off the ground to get enough even pressure on the print. Yeah, that was definitely a workout. The press came with a free felt piece to put in between like the top press and the print to add more cushion and protection while printing. And the A4 size is perfect for fitting on my desk and really great for storing away and isn't too heavy to move around. It comes in around 15 pounds, which I'm able to lift with like a grunt or two, but just make sure to hold it from the wood press. There's even like these handles on the side, and just don't hold it from the levers so it doesn't like swing open and like slam against you or something like that. But they also sent me their glass Barren, which first of all is just really pretty to look at. I love the blue and green style so much, and the Barren's a great, affordable, and more physically accessible option compared to the lever press and saves you even more storage space. And it even comes in its own little handy little box to store in. One really cool thing about the printmaking glass Barren is that it's 100% made by Czech glass makers. Ritualis Press worked with local family glass workshops to design this Barren, and it really shows through with the quality and craftsmanship of this Barren. I'm really happy to work with a company that offers this high quality and support of local craftsmen. And once again, I want to thank Ritualis Press for sending me their lever press to try and their glass Barren and being able to show it to you guys. I'm excited to use it in this video and some future printing projects, and I'll include all the links down below if you want to learn more about Ritualis Press and their printmaking products. Okay, so here is the final transferred sketch onto the block. It's pretty similar to the actual drawing. There may be little bits of scale variation, but yeah, here it is. And now it's finally time for the cutting. Finally, it feels like it's been such a long process to getting here, but yeah, I think I'll be using the smallest blade that I have. This is the Speedball lino-cut tools. I got it over a year ago when I took my first printmaking class in my last semester at school. So I think I'll probably be using this smallest blade that comes with this set. So the plan is to only cut the areas that are this light blue. The dark blue is where the actual ink transfer will be. So I'll just be carving out into these paler blue areas. So yeah, it's gonna take a long time, especially with those little details, but I'm excited to get started. The hardest part of this print, I think, was transferring the drawing over. I've done this before with my cowboy prints from last year, but since this design was so small, every proportion had to be more carefully placed. It didn't end up exactly like the digital design, but I think there's some sort of beauty and added effect of using my hand to transfer this in the process, and a bit of exactness being lost, but a feeling and emotion kind of being discovered through redrawing it. As I started to cut into the block, I immediately realized this material of the block was a lot softer than what I was used to. I think I had only been used to a battleship gray linoleum block. I'm not sure what brand it was since it was given to me to use in my printmaking class without the label or the brand on top, but this Speedball brand blue block is a lot softer and more kind of rubbery. And I think that's why I wasn't able to use the transfer paper on top of it, but it felt like my tools were carving into the block a lot more easily, and it wasn't so much of a struggle to get the marks that I want. One thing that was really important to me as I began to carve out the negative space, so the areas without the blue ink, the empty areas, I wanted to do this in a meaningful and intentional manner. I was looking at a lot of Brian Reedy's work. Hello, Mr. Reedy, if you're watching. He includes a lot of directional marks in his relief carvings, adding more depth and visual interest to his designs. I'll have a link down below to his work. I highly recommend checking it out. But I do a similar thing in my paintings and drawings sometimes to describe form, and I really wanted to carry that mark-making language into my prints. A cowboy print that I made last year kind of shows this directionality of marks, but since this block that I'm working on is at a way smaller scale, every mark had more weight and importance to it, so slowing down and really thinking about which direction I was carving in was very important to this process. I think a really beautiful thing about this style of printmaking is the unintentional marks, which I learned to call chatter in my printmaking class. This aspect of relief carving is one of my favorite parts of the medium, adding some texture and atmosphere to otherwise empty sections of negative space. Going back to Reedy's work, his work is extremely clear and well defined, but I love seeing these minimal bits of the block show through in the negative space, and I think it just adds so much life to the print, so much atmosphere, and just like an added layer of depth.
Two grapes makes a, I don't know what that is. The microphone's pretty close to my face if I were to score and go, what? How do you do that?
I intentionally wanted to add some of this chatter to my print, so I decided to not completely carve everything so clearly. Being more intentional with my marks and also having directional marks was a really like big goal of mine with this print. This print only took me maybe over 2 hours to carve since it was so small, but it was a lot of fun to carve in the small little details and reinterpret the original drawing I made. For the entire print, I used the number 1 size Linoleum Speedball cutter blade. I think I bought this entire set at like Michael's or something, so I'll have it linked down below if you're interested in purchasing it. I do have a matching design I would like to carve with this print, but that's for part 2 of this video, so make sure to like and subscribe to see the other design I'll be working on in a future video.
You see, oh, there's also WarioWare too. That I got 194 points. Is that good? Good. Now we just. Why is it not moving? Oh shit.
How long did yours end up taking?
You were here when I started carving it, so I feel like probably more than 4 hours.
Yeah, because you had more like...
It's a bit bigger.
Yeah, it was a bigger print and it had a lot smaller of details, I think.
And the spaces that like I wanted to be clean weren't left with a lot of chatter, so I feel like that process of cleaning up the chatter also took some time. Yeah, but like less than a day. I was done within an afternoon, or like within an evening, basically. But I think what I enjoyed the most was the actual designing process, because then this exact layout, like this framing of it, will be in the next piece as well. So I like that I was able to spend time setting up, okay, this is how I want the other one to look as well, and then that was half the battle. The rest was just like, okay, I'm gonna put a blackberry, and the other one,
It's funny how both of us did, like, this is the first part of like a diptych, like 2 prints in like a series, so it'll be cool to see the part 2 and like the matching pairs to each of these prints. Adds character. Okay, should we attach we already have the register in here? Should we tape it to the thing or just lay it down?
Should we do it this way so it's oriented the same?
Yeah. There.
Okay. Alright, dude.
Wow.
You're not horrible at it. You loosened it for me. Okay, it is gloopy still, so let's put this. Yeah, I think you can get more thorough with that.
Alright. Okay, that did... It's not picking up. Maybe I need more ink?
Maybe?
I thought I had plenty of ink. So the cutting process is pretty straightforward. You really like, you're just cutting away. But our printing process was a little bit more hectic. Complicated, yeah.
Yeah.
We started printing outside, which was like the first like red flag, because we live in Florida and obviously it's going to be a lot warmer outside of a temperature, but us not thinking that'd be an issue, and we worked in like an oil-based ink when we were in the studio like last year, like when we were still in school, and I feel like temperature really didn't come into play because it was like oil-based, and obviously it's going to dry longer since it's oil-based. But since we're using an acrylic ink, that dries like in 2 seconds.
Instantaneously. And we only sped up that process by
being outside in like a slight heat. It wasn't too hot outside, but it was obviously warmer than when it would be inside. And we had that against us, and just acrylic ink in general. The ink that we're using wasn't
shouldn't have been used for block printing.
Yeah.
It was like on the pot itself, it was a Speedball brand. It did say like to use for screen printing, for use on paper, on wood, on fabric. Like there was just a plethora of mediums like for it to be used within, but it was not correct. The acrylic ink was not the move, because we were trying to force it to like evenly disperse in the way that oil-based ink would just naturally do once you've rolled it out a few times with the brayer.
Yep.
So we were trying to force acrylic to do what it's just not meant to do. At least not meant for block printing. It was meant for screen printing and fabric and stuff. So once we made the switch and moved indoors, we were now within like a sweet spot of like, okay, we have the right material and we have the right temperature.
Yeah.
So our results went from being really ghastly and like pale looking and uneven to very clean and, you know, maybe just a little bit too much ink, maybe just a little bit too less, but generally the results were a lot better in the end. So it just took a morning of us driving around to find the right ink, which was a battle in itself. That was it, like, oh my gosh, to go in person to a store and then be like, I know it's on our website, but we literally do not carry this at all anymore. The false advertising was our downfall that morning.
Yes.
But upon the third place we visited, we did find it, and we fixed all of our problems that morning.
All for just like a little tube of oil ink.
Yeah, for like a pinky full of
like 2
ink.
ounces, not even probably. But we got it, and it makes a world of a difference. And of course, like the press and the Barren were like never the issue. They were like doing great. They were like, they were there. They were probably like the best part and like helping us so much. And then once we finally just got the right ink, it was just like was a marriage, and it was beautiful, and it was perfect.
We were then surrounded by high quality. And we could produce these good results. Which is not to say that you cannot use something that would be like cheaper. But use the correct product. Like we just did not have the correct. It doesn't have to be like the highest quality, most expensive, but it just needs to be the right one. The correct, like to use and stuff like that. So. It's okay. We learned our lesson. We'll know what to buy next time if we want other colors and stuff, or if we run into this one.
More abstract art related. Because there was like 1 or 2 people who commented on my like the one I posted.
I saw the squirrel. What was I gonna say? Like Doug?
From Up.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
All right, campers.
Let's go.
Let's go. Let's go. Oil ink.
Oil ink.
Oil-based ink. Come on now. It's perfect! It's literally perfect! There's clear. Oh my gosh. It's
that
beautiful.
looks good. Finalement.
It's great. It looks great.
Okay, so this was with the oil ink, because we are knuckleheads and we didn't have the right ink for the job, but that looks really good. Now we have to do yours. Oh my gosh, that looks so good.
Finally, we'll get like one good one of mine. Okay. Let me grab the thing.
These will take a little bit longer to dry.
Yeah, because it's oil based. It's gonna take longer.
Do you want to ink it up, or?
You can ink it up. We already got dirty hands. But grab your block too. Hey, maybe we're not so bad at it. It's just the ink.
That's happened so many times in my art journey.
Some supplies. It's you need the right ones.
Working ones.
Hey, we get a little silly around these parts.
We're just experimental. We just like to.
I just wanted to make it
learn
work.
The hard way.
What I had already bought, because I was like, I don't need to go buy new stuff. But so then, truthfully, that Speedball pot should not say that it's for block printing. That is for screen printing exclusively. Oh, I hope mine actually has like a clean. Oh, I need to cut some paper.
It's gonna look really good.
Hold on, I gotta cut. 5 across. I'll shave an inch off, and then maybe I'll have like some bigger margins or something.
Right.
No, okay.
You can
I'm gonna
line
shave
it up
an inch off on each side, and then. I think there's a margin.
Yeah. You can trim
that's
it
fine.
afterwards.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe 5 by 6.
No, I think 5 5x. We'll see.
Yay!
Alright.
The review.
Okay.
It just needs more ink.
Yeah, it just needs more ink.
Ah! It's so clear though.
Yeah, it's way clearer.
I'm gonna ink it up again.
Okay, get me nice and gloopy. Yeah, you can actually see things now.
Okay. Come on.
Come on,
Hope there's
please.
enough ink.
Yay!
That looks so
Yeah,
good.
I think that's as clean as it's gonna get.
That looks so good.
Nice.
And the little details came out so beautifully.
They did. The only thing that gets like obscure a little bit is the little weathering that I like scratched in
Yeah.
on each side, but that's fine.
It
probably
still
just-
shows up a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit like up here.
We'll just start like tagging you in like all the videos that I do, so just in case people want to like find you, or if they like the when I have you in videos, they would know which videos. Or people just like the duo. I think we had to like do that for Anthony for one assignment. We had to have like
3 of them?
good prints or something.
I can't remember. I feel like we needed like 5 editions of a lot of them.
Oh, we could do 5.
No, 3 is fine. I have one more sheet.
Oh.
3 is fine.
Took a picture of all 3 of them together. 3 is a good number.
It is. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
There we go.
So good.
Just like.
Just like.
I'll
Just
make the
like.
old times for the December one. I bumped the thing.
Yay!
Yippee!
Yay, we have 3 good prints.
I can talk about what this has and what the other one will comparably have. And what I want to stay consistent is this like saloon style like top portion of it. I kept looking up references of like old Western architecture and like door frames and you know those swinging doors.
Yeah.
So this is that like you know that shape of saloon door on the top, and then the bottom was just like a very like ornate frame that I had seen having divots and then straight like tangents and then divots and then straight tangents. So yeah, I just wanted to like repeat those shapes throughout it where like things were being carved into and like being contoured from the edges. And then the other print will have the same framing but different text and different subject matter. So instead of it saying just like, it'll finish the sentence and say old times, which has the same like number of letters in those 2 phrases, so it's still symmetrical. And then instead of a strawberry in that middle portion, it'll be a little like bundle of maybe like just 1 blueberry with the 3 little like, perforations on top. And then the actual frame on the bottom portion, these are like strawberry flowers, like blooms. That's shortcake, if that could even be called a horse. I like it. It looks more like it has wolf proportions, but like horse hair, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fine. And just like, you know, like a general sweetness to it. But then in the partner piece, because it's referencing Solemn Built, I want it to be a little bit more structured and less like spindly the way that these vines are on it.
Yeah.
So that Lily of the Valley really is well suited to being like a more repetitive pattern.
Yep.
So there'll be lilies of the valleys, maybe a pair of boots instead of the horse. I want to keep the horseshoe though on the bottom. And yeah, I think that's where like the design would change in the future. Oh, and then the center portion, instead of it being a blackberry, would be a blooming blanket flower. So just maybe like a quarter of it, it would come out like just
okay. I see.
like a close-up of a blanket flower. So yeah, that's how the other one is going on. They're very similar in structure, and that's exactly what I wanted them to look like, especially if they're going to be continuations of each other in those 2 books. I want them to match and seem like they're like the second one is a continuation of the first.
I think that compositional and like design like likeness and like similarities would like signify that it does go together.
Pieces. Yeah.
And I really like the weathering. It's clearer in the more like in the oil-based prints. In like some of the ones that we did, it's just like these slight like notches in those areas. It looks really good. That's a bit of texture.
When we tried with acrylic paint, it was like they completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Because a lot of ink was getting stuck in those spots that I had carved away, and they were just being filled and pushed back into the paper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm glad that they're clearer now with the oil-based ink, because I did want it to seem like these are dated pieces somewhat. Like, I know it's a contemporary thing that I'm doing here, but I still want it to seem like, you know, Western times. It's old. Things have been weathered and used. So,
is there any sort of paper that you want to print on top of? I know you make your own paper. So is there like a specific color paper or like style of paper that you like to press on?
We didn't get to do it this time, but I had some of like one of my first batches of like that rich pink paper. I did want to try printing that on this, as well as a really early series of paper that I made that was like kind of minty colored. Those two, I'd like to print this current one on that pink paper, and then the next print on the minty one, just because of their corresponding color palettes in the books, like pink and blue. So yeah, I could still use that handmade paper. Would it be too dark, maybe?
No, I don't think it would be too dark, because like this black ink gets like really dark. I think it could work. I was also thinking about how you did with the parasitis print.
Yeah, on pink paper.
Yeah,
that was scrap.
But also even just like the brown kind of stained, and then you like burn the edges. That
I
weathering,
love doing that. Yeah,
that could work really well, because you're talking about that like sort of Western
aged,
feel. I'm thinking of like a wanted poster,
yes,
like pinned to like a
that would be perfect.
Post
and
or something.
Even with these, I could still weather these. I can dye this even with its oil-based ink, because it's fully dry now.
Yeah.
Do my whole process of like tea staining it, doing like the coffee ground rubs.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe I should do that to like some of the early ones. Even the ones that are like the acrylic crusty looking ones.
Yeah.
That might
even more so.
Yeah, that might look even more rustic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a cool experiment to do. That's a great thing. And burning the edges, that's always fun to do. Giving those toxic paper fumes to inhale.
Yes, delicious.
That's good. I'll definitely try and do that then. I think that'll make me feel like these are more complete, because they have such clean margins.
Exactly, yeah.
So, yeah. It's weird that the rest of the paper doesn't look as aged as the actual print itself does.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It would make more sense, like, content-wise, to have that match. I'm just gonna take, like, a bunch. I printed, like, so many with the acrylic ink that just did not turn out well.
This stack.
So I think it'd be fun to do, like color palette experimentation on top of it with, like, gouache or even just acrylic paint, and just have fun with that and use it to practice painting or something like that, because I have so many, like, faded prints when we're trying to use the acrylic ones. So
you've got plenty of coloring book pages now.
Yes,
to work
coloring
with.
book pages.
Yeah, I think that'd be really good. A good advantage to like experiment with color for.
And we hadn't printed anything. It'd been almost a year, or exactly a year since we were in our printmaking class, which is one of the classes which we started to get to know each other in. We had both a printmaking class and a bookbinding class together that semester, so we spent a lot of time getting to know each other. And
I think that's why the gifts that I made you this year for our anniversary were combining both of those things, because I wanted it to be like reminiscing about where we met. So I like the idea of combining what we learned from like both of those classes.
Yeah, I think that's why printmaking and bookbinding have such like a special place in my heart, because that's like where a lot of our relationships stem from. Yeah, and a lot of our conversations stem from printmaking and talking about our class projects, and that leading into more like personal things. It'd be cool to do like a collaborative print one day.
That would be nice. I would like to make or write another poem or something that had to do with like that collaborative piece, because I feel like something that I was associated with you was like writing something for you that you were making. One of the first things I did was for your like one of your very first Strawberry Sol paintings. So it would be fun to have like another excuse to write something about.
So I basically started printmaking last year in our printmaking class, but I know you have like a longer history with the medium from like high school years.
Yeah, I I think the first print that I ever did was it was a lino-cut thing, and it was like a subject with like a TV head kind of thing.
Okay, object head.
Okay, object head. Yeah, that's what it was. And I don't think I knew about like the prevalence of object heads and like just the general art community, but I was like, I love just the complete absence of like a recognizable face and stuff. So there was nothing on the screen. It was just straight up a TV head.
Yeah.
With like some person in a button up or something. I don't know. But that was like the first thing I ever carved, and that was because it was an assignment in a class that I had with Brian Reedy, which now you've met. And I would say I've been exposed to the art of printmaking since that time, since like the very beginning of high school, because of him. So that means, you know, the 4 years of high school plus now like over 4 years of having been in university and graduated. That's like probably more than 8 years of like being exposed to the medium.
Yeah.
And although I can't say that I've been as active in it as I have been now in the past, because I just wasn't doing any of my own like personal projects. It was very much like assignment based stuff.
Yeah.
And now I have such a like hunger to get experimental with it and like to throw coffee and tea on paper and then like, you know, print things, whatever. So I think that my interest in it has peaked massively since the class that we had. That definitely like ignited something that had maybe gone dormant, but my appreciation for the art form had never faltered because of my like proximity to Reedy. So yeah, I think he was definitely the inciting incident of my like interest in printmaking.
Your printmaking canon event.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I see we both like like using typographical components.
Yeah, well,
it's just fun to like come up with a typeface and then a font or something.
I really wanted to tie back to the prints I did last year of the Sweet Dancing print and then the Cowboy Cuddle, and still having that like warmth and like vulnerability. So choosing words like tender, and the other one's going to be sweet. So
you have very feel-good pieces of printmaking so far. Yeah, I like that all of the ones that I've seen from you have like a sense of profound comfort coming from them. It's really cute.
I think that's my biggest struggle going forward, is like I really love printmaking. I think that's just been my struggle like all along, where I just want to do so many things and it's hard for me to focus on one thing. So it's like going to be like, would this idea or concept work better as a print or as a painting? Or maybe I should do both and just kind of see how that looks, or do the painting first and do like a print inspired by it to go with it, or the reverse of something like that.
I think at least now that you have the press, you have ink to use, you have brayers, you have whatever you need to produce a print. In the long run, it is cheaper to like execute an idea through printmaking, right? At least right now, where we still have all our supplies. So if there's like something you really want to see be done just immediately, or just kind of give something like a preliminary a go, basically, you could do that through printmaking and not feel like you used a lot of materials to get to that point. Yeah, I can see that.
And I could also combine them, like paint a couple pieces of paper and then print on top and see how that looks. Yeah,
you did mention that. I would love to see what that looks like.
It would be really cool to have like a brown or like a paler ink, something more like that could go flush with or flush with a like paint, to do like some sort of figural work where the background atmosphere isn't established yet, and just print it on top with a painted background or a painted atmosphere of some sort. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I would love to see us start getting funky with ink colors. I mean, black is still really cool. It's just I think you can get crazy with colors, especially because you're so good at using them. I could see you doing really well.
I think that's the only that's the main way I see myself using this, along with the stuff that I'm already doing, incorporating color, because that's what unites a lot of what I do. So I think we got successful prints.
Yes.
With all our woes and struggles getting there with actual ink and stuff. Yeah. They look really good. Thank you for joining me in this endeavor. You were kind of the inciting incident of all this, wanting to get back into printmaking. I'm
so interested in it. Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what you do with it.
Thank you.
And I'm excited for part 2 of this video.
Yes. So, I want to see our other halves become whole.
Yes, yeah.
So that'll be really satisfying to see, and then to see them all like put together side by side. Yeah.
With the final print design being finished, we are now finished with this video. Thank you all so much for watching and coming along with me with making this print. I hadn't done any sort of printmaking for almost a year, so it was so much fun going back to a medium I really love. Let me know if you guys would be interested in purchasing this print. I'm already planning my first shop update for next year, so I might be putting a couple of these guys up there. Also, make sure to like and subscribe to see part 2 of this Print With Me project. I have another block around the same size, and I'm planning a sort of complementary design to this one, so make sure to keep an eye on this channel for the next video. And thank you so much again, Ritualis Press, for sending me your A4 lino-cut printing press and glass Barren. I know these products will be a staple in future work and will really help to expand my portfolio. And if you'd like to be one of the first people to see upcoming projects, artwork, and have early access to YouTube videos and more, you can check out my Ko-fi member tiers. Also, if you'd like to receive this exclusive Cowboy Tamagotchi sticker, make sure to sign up for my sticker club anytime during the month of November. So shout out to my sticker club members as of Wednesday, November 15th, 2023. I know I just opened a couple more slots up, so I know there's some new guys in there. So thank you to Agul, Air, Alien Kid, Elisa R, Anna's Confused, Artist Life 03, August, Bean, Bisonberries, Blue Swanson, Brendog, Brudmud, Kaylin D, Canid Courier, Charu, Cheyenne, Chloe, Clowny Guts, Clutter of Chaos, Connor Mischief, Dara, Dossie, Demon Sketchnin, Emmy, Emily C, Emily B, Emma, Arasusta, Froggy Bells, Gabriella C, Gamut Girl, Ghost Pup, Grace, Heather C, Hen, Impicarus, Ink Palette, Izzy, Jason, Jazz, Jordan, Jules, Julie, Junos, K Y'all, Cam's Art World, Katie, Kent, Kia, KP, Chris, James, Seams, Creates, Laura C, Leslie, Liesel, Liz, Lucas S, Lux, Mads, Mar, Max Decided, Mayday V, Mayo, Mika Lika, Moth, Mr. Goat Was Here, Maya, Napkin, Nat, Olive, Olivia, Opal Cider, Peep Mart, Pierce, Pilot, Pixie Boo, Perpy's Cave, Rat Shack, Red, Reggie, Ren, Roses Are Purple, Rowan, Ruby T, Rin, Seiche, Salem, Salty Goober, Sam, Sarensley, Scotty, Screaming Rat, Scribble and Dibble, Shay, Shanos, Suenos, Shelf Cat, Simon, Sir Night Star, That Gay Otaku Boy, Ugly Sketchbook, Vampy Ajax, Wigster, Zatheka, and Zelly. And shout out to my snickerdoodles as well. Big Chungus, Chipu, Clarice, Cup of Honey, Deandria, Day on the Cow, Aaron, King, Government Flu, Catherine F, Kelly E, Kofi Supporter, Lexan A, Lilybell, Mango Dust, Nicole Nader Art, Peach, Peachy Pie Peeps, Ring Kenobi, Ronan L, Soft Lesbian, Star Gamer, Steven C, Tammy, Tasty Battery Acid, Tiforic, Tyfleur, Vixen, and Valency. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this new style of art content. Printmaking may be seen as really daunting at first, but it's super fun once you get a little bit of practice and have the right materials. All right, take care of yourself, and until the next video, see ya.